Hey, I'm Nellie Callback, and here is KP, as we know her from Rubber Moon, Kristen Powers. She is so cool, and she's back on Creative Jumpstart for 2019, and I'm so thrilled to have her back. But let her say something about herself. Hi, KP.
Hi, Natalie. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me back again. Super excited, as always, to share art and inspiration and creative jump starting.
Woohoo!
So, let's see. Am I supposed to just say something about myself?
Yeah.
Well, welcome to my studio, The Moon and the Maker. I'm sorry I was late this morning. I was putting up a ceiling fan.
That's okay.
Nothing too creative, but it makes the room look a lot better. So let's see.
What's your creative? What you do as an artist? What's your thing?
Well, rubber stamps, of course. I own and operate and design for Rubber Moon Art Stamp Company. You might know them. We just do Natalie Callback stamps. So I would say, I guess that's like my main focus. I mean, I don't really necessarily consider myself a stamper per se. I don't make a lot, a lot of like greeting cards or do any scrapbooking, but I think it's evolved so much more, and it's just sort of another tool for the mixed media world and the mixed media artists. So at least that's how I feel about rubber stamps. And but there's just something about them that I will always love the most, just the way they look and feel when you play with them. But anyway, so I guess my artwork is, I consider it to be whimsical, colorful.
Yeah.
There's more to, I think for me, I love innovating things, even, just as much as making like a painting or drawing. I love to like think of new ways to use things, or you've used the new Moonlight Duo Tint and Hue ink pads. Those are sort of newish still.
They're super cool. Very cool.
So I don't know, that's where I'm at as a designer and artist. We've had Rubber Moon now the company just celebrated our 25th anniversary.
Woohoo! Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But I've owned it for 6. So
yeah, and I want to hook into what KP was just saying about her company. She's like such a modest person, which you probably don't want me to say, but it's true. So I think I have to pitch it a little bit more. So actually, when she said she likes to innovate things, she has these like really cool stems, for example, that are called, I think, stem extraction. Can't say it. But when she said she likes to have something that is like, you can make something new with it, they're like building blocks in a way. Stems that you can make something abstract or something like buildings, or they can be used in so many different ways. You got to check it out. And also those Moonlight ink pads, I love them so much. So I'll go and check out those two. I just used them actually in an online workshop that's coming out, or came out when we air this interview, and yeah, that's how much I love them.
I can't wait to see.
But so this year's 2019 Creative Jumpstart is My Home is My Castle, and I want to know, KP, because everyone has a different feeling of what home means, right? It could be the place where you live, it could be a house, could be the country, could be you're being centered in yourself and your body is your castle, right? What does home mean to you?
Well, home for me has an extra special meaning. I think, just not that it's not special for everybody, but you have to know, like, I've moved around so much in my lifetime, so much. I can't even tell you how many times I've moved, and that is not a joy for me. Like, move is worse. It's a 4-letter word that's worse than another 4-letter. To me, if you say move, meaning packing boxes, is just like the worst thing I can think of. So we are settled here in our current home, We've been here now going on 3 years, and I just, it makes me feel so good to come home. You know, it's a comfort. Sorry, I'm babbling. I'm just thinking of all this stuff because my studio and our business is also on the same property. So like coming home just means everything to me. Like, you know, family, comfort, creativity. It's just now to the point because everything has been so chaotic as far as like the moving and getting the business settled. Because, you know, 6 years, I've had Rubber Moon for 6 years now, but it's not really, it goes by so fast. And I feel like I'm just now really getting my bearings, you know. So we've been able to not only sort of work on the business, getting it all running smoothly and settled in the building, but our house kind of at the same time. So it's all been evolving together, and it just, it's such a good feeling. So home for me is a feeling of comfort and just serenity and creativity, because I've always had my studio in my home too, or you know, either in my home or on the same property. So, you know, it's just, I think of that all together whenever I think of the word home. So I don't know if it's really a castle, but it's because I'm definitely queen around here.
Well, I remember not long ago you posted, maybe last year, I'm not sure, last summer or last autumn, you posted those pictures where you repainted, I think, the door and the, like, kind of a porch that was leading the stone or wood, I'm not sure anymore. That was like when you come up the stairs, right?
Yeah. I painted me and my kids painted the porch to be kind of like Mexican tiles, or, you know, kind of that look. And then I painted my door bright pink. We don't own the house that we're in, but the people that own it are just wonderful, and they really let me have, you know,
oh, that's cool.
Do whatever. So we might end up buying this house eventually. We're still, you know, not sure yet because, I mean, the problem is I don't know if I'm going to stay here in Missouri forever. So, you know, I have my two youngest kids are in seniors in high school. They'll be graduating in 2019. So we'll see. But for now, this is my castle.
That's so cool.
Very comfy.
That I can totally relate. So when you, let's say you go, you travel a lot, right? So I know you are going and you teach a lot. She's a fabulous teacher. And oftentimes when you do that, you're on the road. You do like a road trip and several workshops at once, because it's hard, as I guess, to leave the business. Like, you know, you can't just go one weekend and then you're going to be home and then you try to compress it, but then you're on the road for quite a while. So when you do that, how do you make yourself feel at home on the road? Is there a way? Is there something you bring along, or a ritual, or, you know, you bring TC, that's home.
I bring my husband. Really. Or, you know, always, my sister used to always travel with me when she was able to. And then now she's not able to, so sometimes Maxie, my oldest daughter, will go, or my husband, because usually I'm driving pretty far. So, you know, I mean, I could. I don't think that I would never go by myself, but I don't feel as comfortable. And, you know, it is kind of a long time usually. So, yeah, I just bring a family member. But I'm the worst. You have to know me. I'm the worst traveler. Like,
are you?
I don't like flying. I hate riding in a car. I don't know how I managed to do it. You know, one of my favorite quotes is by Georgia O'Keeffe, and she said, I'm not exact quoting, but it goes something like, I've been afraid every day of my life, but I never let it stop me from doing anything. But the gist of it, like, you know, and it is really how I feel. I am a fraidy cat, but I make myself do stuff. You know, traveling is one of them, because I am a horrible homebody and I just don't like the actual getting from point A to point B, you know? So yeah, bringing a family member helps. But as far as preparing for travel, oh my gosh, ask anybody. Like, I'll be packing my clothes the night before.
That's funny. I'm going to Germany next week. And while I was, exactly 1 week, and while I was like sitting here waiting for you, I started actually my packing list.
Oh, you have a list? Oh my gosh, I'm way behind then. No, I'm the worst. Then I get there and I'm like, oh, I forgot shoes to go with this outfit. Oh, I need to go to Walgreens and get a toothbrush. I'm bad. I think it's just because in my mind I'm like, I don't want to go. Like, I want to go and do the things. You know, I love teaching. I love, you know, getting to see my friends and our customers and everything and the store owners, whatever. But it's just actually getting in the car and getting
Yeah, I'm not. It depends on, of course, if it's for a vacation. I love a road trip, but other than that, I don't really like traveling myself that much. You know, I think it's really stressful at times, and especially when you fly, you know, or yeah, it has to be like some private road trip where I'm like, oh, this is cool, or you know. But other than that, like I'm in a weird bin with stranger people, and usually I get a cold when when I'm done or sick. I always get sick after flight. And I just don't like to be restricted, you know, sitting down for a long time or whatever. So the act of traveling, I think, was probably so much better when you were on a like Orient Express or something, right?
Not the Titanic.
No. That wasn't the greatest, but you know, so.
But I get what you mean.
So, you said you moved a lot. Like, have you lived in other states or countries or?
No, I've never lived in another country. I was born and raised actually in California, but I lived all over California, mostly California, and then I lived in Oregon for a short time, and then we moved to Missouri when I was like in my late 20s, and I lived in St. Louis for about 20 something years, and then we moved here to Louisiana, Missouri, which is just about an hour and a half north of St. Louis. We moved here about 6 years ago.
So anything from those places, maybe especially California, since you grew up there, that you think that kind of like influenced your artwork or the way how you do your artwork? I know it's a tough question, but...
Gosh, I mean, I don't know if I would... I mean, I'm sure that I probably am influenced a lot by things, you know, that I don't even... that I'm not even really conscious of growing up, you know, because like, well, you know, I love like rainbows and, you know, unicorns and,
so you're a California hippie girl.
Yeah. And, you know, peace signs and 70s stuff. And, you know, because where and when I was raised. So I'm sure it influences me a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I would necessarily say, the West Coast or California that I'm aware of.
Does your home itself inspire you?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I'm inspired by everything. I really do. Like, I think I'm inspired by everything. That's one thing that I, as being an artist, that I, so far, at least in my life, that I really cannot relate to is having any amount of, I'm not sure the word, like a dry spell or like.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that people talk about that, but I've never experienced it because I'm just constantly energized, inspired by something. It could be nature. It can be my home. It can be, I mean, a song, a poem.
Yeah.
A beautiful day, a rainy day. I mean, I don't know. It's just everything around me just.
Yeah, I don't think... I feel the same. I don't think I ever had a problem with being inspired. It's more like you don't feel like how to turn it into... Like, sometimes you have a spell, like, I don't know how to turn it into something where you're just, like, tired or kind of like a burnout. And I think that's cool, too. Some people need that. Like, I think once in a while I just need, like, a step back and to just refuel and, just don't... I have like lately this thing where I'm like, there's all these things going on, like you have to create every day, you know, and it's like this new pressure that everyone kind of like also creates for me, saying that, you know, if you don't create every day, you're losing your muscle, which is true, I think, for a lot of people, but I also think I don't want to be pressured into doing. If I don't feel like it, I don't feel like it. You know.
But I mean, to me, when I think about that, I feel like those times when you know, that's part of the process. I don't feel that urge to like be actually making something every day, because there's a back end to that goes along, you know, with thinking and planning and experimenting, that all leads up to, but it's still part of the process. So even though I might not make something every day, I don't feel that because I'm not doing that it's a dry spell, or that I'm blocked in any way or something like that. You know, I feel like, because with everything, there's that ebb and flow. And, you know, just like if you're a football player, you have to warm up and practice, exercise. You know, you're not just going to go and play an awesome football game.
You also have to rest a little bit.
Right, exactly.
Right?
And eat and sleep. And so everything is just part of that.
I also think that it was interesting. I was interviewing... shoot, I'm forgetting her name. I have to
somebody.
I had an interview, and she said that she loves to watch TV, and that's when she gets like very creative and do like drawings or whatever, because then she is kind of in a weird zone where she is not too focused to do like great work, and that's when she can do things. And I think that's true for many things, like whether you're like changing out the ceiling fan, right? Or you're like you know, cleaning, which is my least favorite thing, or whatever. Something in your home, in the background, something goes on that you know you're thinking about, or it just sparks something. Later, like your mind is still working even though you don't know, like your creative mind is working, but you don't realize it.
Well, no, I think also if you have something else kind of going on, then you're not so, you know, you're not so critical or so you can be like more spontaneous when you aren't like, oh my gosh, this is so focused on it that you have to, so that's good. I've not really tried it. Usually when I'm on the couch watching TV, not in a drawing
Me neither.
mood.
I'm a total like real couch potato.
Yeah.
Like I watch something, I can't lay down, I will fall asleep if I do. So I have to sit kind of upright.
You should.
I did a little bit of embroidery recently, which is kind of fun. I can do that, but I'm not good in sketching or, you know, thinking like it's either this or that.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to have like maybe on my iPad. I could do that on my iPad, but I don't want to have. I find whenever I've tried to like do any little, you know, painting or drawing sitting on the couch or whatever, then all my stuff is like rolling down in the cushions, or I don't, you know, So.
That is so cool. So in the morning, I think you mentioned that earlier when we were chatting a little bit ahead of the interview. You said that you go for a morning walk. Is that how you jumpstart your creativity in a bit? Like, get out of the house?
I mean, I think, we just started, so my husband and I started about maybe 4 months ago going for a walk every day. And we'll either go to the YMCA, or if the weather's nice, we'll go on outdoors. And yet, oh my gosh, it feels so wonderful. And I mean, I don't know, I don't think I've shared this with you. You know, well, I think you know this, that I became vegan. It's been about 1.5 years now. And so between that and then, about 1.5 years ago, I became vegan. And then about 4 months ago, I started walking. And so now I've lost about 40 pounds.
Nice. Wow.
Not only does it feel amazing, you know, and it was never, honestly, it wasn't about losing weight for me. I mean, not that I didn't ever feel like I wanted to lose that weight, but that was never my focus, because I was okay at the weight I was at. I didn't feel, you know, unattractive. I mean, I didn't feel unattractive, or I didn't feel like that. I can't think of the word again, but I don't feel like that defined me at all.
Right.
But I wasn't that physically comfortable because the way I carry my weight is very funny. Like I still kind of have small, skinny arms and legs, but kind of just a big middle.
Yeah.
So I kind of built like a grape, you know, and that was just uncomfortable for me, you know, to have all that weight around my middle. So of course I wanted to lose the weight, but it was not the focus. I just, you know, wanted to feel more energy and feel better. So between, you know, eating the way I've been eating and the walking has just been amazing. And so, yes, creatively, I would say when you feel better as a whole, that just makes your art, you know, it makes you more motivated and makes you just
definitely.
So. But yes, when I go for my walk and I come back, I feel so much, you know, just clearer and ready for my day. Even though a lot of days I don't get to be as, you know, get to get as naked as I want to. Computer stuff, you know. I know.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, that's the worst part. But it's also funny because your husband works also at home with you. My husband works from home for his company, but so we spend a lot of time at home, and we don't do morning walks because I guess we're both kind of like lazy in the morning, kind of like we need our coffee and ease into the day. But what we often do is we meet at like, especially in the summer, like let's say 5:30, 6 o'clock, and we meet and then we do a bicycle tour to Liberty State Park or do some errands together. We do a lot of like shopping, like even grocery shopping together. And it gets us out of the house because otherwise, I mean, love my home is my castle, but right? It can also make you a little bit like,
yeah, that moat.
Yeah, exactly. I heard like people even doing things like when they work from home where they go out in the morning, they get dressed, they get out in the morning and go around the block and then go back home to go to their office to work. So it's kind of like, this is my start. And I always feel that is that's such a great idea. So for me, kind of like getting out of the house after working is almost like, now I finished my work and now I'm going, you know, going out.
Yeah. Well, but you work in your house, right?
Yeah.
So we have a building on the property. I mean, it's still only like 20 steps away, but at least it makes me feel like go out my door and, you know.
So it's not attached. It's not attached. You have to go out.
You have to go out.
That's fun.
And if it's raining or whatever, you know, I still have to run across in the rain, you know.
I didn't know. That's fun. That was so good talking to you, KP. I always love to talk to KP, and I'm so happy to have her back. KP, now that it is probably December when we are watching this video, is there anything that is coming up that you want to point out? You want to have anyone know?
Oh, gosh, well, I mean, well, I do have an episode coming up on Make It Artsy. I don't know exactly when that'll air, but I can, you know, keep everybody posted. No, I don't think anything that, you know, I don't know of anything coming up for 2019 yet exactly. It was a great year this year though, so.
Yay! I know.
I'm hoping for another one of those.
Definitely. Yeah, check out KP's website and the Rubber Moon Company, as well as her online workshops on Make It Artsy. And thank you so much. And check it out what she's doing for Creative Jumpstart 2019.
Thanks, Natalie. Bye.
Bye.
Good seeing you.
It was good seeing you.